Hello, everyone, and welcome to Real Life, Real Faith. Today is probably the most special episode we'll ever have because I have a special guest today, my beautiful bride, my other half, Sunni. She didn't necessarily want to be on the podcast, but I kind of talked her into it. These are kind of my videos that I get to do on just living out faith in a practical way. And I wanted to just talk about our marriage because honestly, when it comes to living out our faith, the place we get to live it the most is in our homes. And so I wanted to bring her on here, get to talk about our marriage. And in reality, we're going to be talking about the love languages, if you saw the thumbnail. And that's a really interesting topic. So I thought it would be kind of cool to get to talk about it. She, again, reluctantly joined me. And so it's just a really great thing. And so I'm glad that all of you are here. We took a test online of what are our love languages. So we're going to discuss that. And I don't know if we'll guess it correctly. So we'll kind of see. But it is just a blessing to be able to have her on here, to be able to have all of y'all here. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started. But before we do, please like, comment, and subscribe. That's super helpful to the channel. You don't realize how much that helps us. It's free to y'all, but what it does is it puts our stuff out there. It allows more people to see it on their For You pages. It allows more people to see it as they're scrolling YouTube. So please do that for us if you possibly could. All right. So where we're going to start is I want to explain kind of what our love language is. Me and Sunni have both kind of read the book a little bit and talked about it. So I want to hear kind of in her words what she'll say. I kind of wrote down these questions. What is a love language and how does it actually affect a marriage?
Well, I think for me, like, especially going into marriage, I always thought that the love languages were like, you just showed your love language to the person you're married to. Like, if I showed love languages, just for example, giving gifts and I gave you gifts, I always understood it as like the love language I showed is the love language you receive. And so I think like just the more we read the book and talked about it, understanding that that's not the way you accept love.
Yeah.
And so I think learning a lot that like you have to give love in the way that your partner receives love. And so I think that was a big learning curve for me going in just to marriage and everything.
It's interesting you bring that up because I think one of the biggest issues, and the book kind of hits on this, is that I might have a certain love language and think that I'm showing you love.
Yeah.
But in reality, you're not receiving that love.
Yeah.
And so love languages are something that affect everyday reception of love. I mean, and honestly, what's interesting is that, and me and Sunni have learned this, her parents showed love in a different way than my parents showed. And so the things that make me feel loved are not necessarily the things that make you feel loved. And what we're actually going to do here in a second is we're going to try to guess each other's love languages. There are 5. I'll pull them up here and read them off to you. I'll put them up here on the screen actually so that y'all can see them. The 5 different love languages are quality time, physical touch, words of affirmation, acts of service, and receiving gifts. And apparently, according to the guys who wrote these books, and it's a super popular thing, that all 5 of these kind of encompass all the ways in which that you feel loved and all the ways in which that you show love. So with that being said, we're going to go into kind of the second side of this, which hopefully doesn't turn out badly, is guessing each other's love languages. So again, there's 5. You have a primary, a secondary, and it kind of goes down the list in order. So I'll kind of pass it over to you. You can start, Sunni. What do you think my love languages is? How would you rank those 5 for me?
Okay. So let's see how this goes. I would say for sure first physical touch. And I feel like what we have to explain is physical touch goes more than just intimacy. It's just hand holding. It's giving each other a hug.
Cuddling on the couch.
It's more so than just intimate moments. And so I feel like you've always been a very physical person, just like holding my hand in public or coming up behind me in the kitchen and giving me a hug. So first, I would say for sure physical touch. And then I would probably say quality time, because you're a big quality time person. So I feel like you've always, like when we have company for an extended period of time, or when we're on a trip and you're with your family and I'm with your sisters or whatever, and we don't have that quality time, I can tell that you definitely struggle with that.
So we're laughing because there's been fights on all of these. Don't worry.
So probably for sure physical touch, quality time. I would maybe say, I don't know about the third. I feel like it gets a little dicey.
It gets questionable, doesn't it?
I don't know. I would maybe say.
Oh, come on. You got to know me better than that.
Words of affirmation. I feel like you thrive on, I don't know, maybe thrive on praises and just being told how much I appreciate you. And then maybe acts of service and gift giving.
Okay. We probably should write these down. Here, I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to pull up a little list so we can write them down. All right. Give me the list.
Okay. Physical touch.
Physical touch. Got it.
Quality time.
Quality time. Got it.
Probably words of affirmation.
Okay.
What did I say fourth? Acts of service. Actually, I would maybe even say acts of service last.
You got it. It's
acts
your
of service
list.
and then gift,
It's
and
your
then
list.
gift giving.
So gift before acts of service.
Maybe gift giving and then acts of service.
Okay, you got to make a decision.
I would say gift giving and then acts of service.
Gift.
Say
service.
gifts and then service.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Let's see.
Now, let me just say, as the expert in all things Sunni,
Uh-huh.
So guessing Sunni's, I would say that your first would be acts of service. That's a given. I'm just trying to pretend like it's a questionable. It's for sure acts of service. For if you don't know, well, you probably don't know. She really appreciates an acts of service, specifically a Dutch Brothers in the morning when I come home from the gym. So I know that number one act of service. But number two, I would say probably quality time. Sunni, as much as I don't think you probably have as much quality time in you as me, I still think quality time's up there. I would say next it would be physical touch is last. I can promise you that one.
Don't make it sound so obvious. And you might be wrong.
No, it is. Physical touch is, I promise.
No, you could
I
be wrong.
promise that
you could
it's,
be dead wrong.
things like holding hands and hugs and no, it's at the bottom. All right. That leaves gifts and what's the last one? Gifts and
words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation. I would say gifts and then words of affirmation. So my guess for Sunni would be acts of service. That's not a guess. That's a positive. Quality time, gift giving, words of affirmation, and then physical touch. Now we're gonna get this reveal going. Who do you want to reveal first?
You want to do yours first.
You want me to reveal mine first?
Do yours
Okay.
first.
All right. I've got mine pulled up here. I'm gonna set it over here. You want to see this?
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Physical touch first.
First one. I actually have a tie for the first
Physical
one.
touch and quality time. I know.
Physical touch and quality time. Technically, it lists quality time first. So, but they're both 31%. They say that my first two love languages tied is quality time and physical touch.
Nailed it.
Okay. Number 3. What did you have guessed?
Words of affirmation.
Is words of affirmation. I was 28% words of affirmation. So 31% quality time, 31%
Wow.
physical touch, and 28%
I wouldn't have actually
words
thought
of
that
affirmation.
was that high.
I think the test is biased. I don't
I know.
think it's meant to be that high. And then acts of service, I had 10%.
Oh, okay. See, I switched those.
And I had 0% receive.
I thought just maybe like gift giving. Like,
No.
I just felt like acts of service. Like, you don't care when I do the dishes because.
Well, but acts of service, you have to look at it as like ways of like you going out of your way to do something
for
me.
you that you don't necessarily want to do.
Yes. So like, not that obviously I can't do the dishes. I do, but it's more like usually I do the dishes for you.
Yeah.
Rather than you do the dishes for me,
that makes sense.
vice versa. And so, but no, gift giving, 0% for me for some reason. Apparently, I don't know.
Never getting you another gift.
Yeah. That wasn't a good one to reveal. You were pretty close though. That was pretty good.
I know.
That's pretty good. It's almost like we're married.
Almost.
So Sunni has hers pulled up on my phone also. I'll hand it to her. I'm a little bit nervous because she did pretty good on that.
I don't think you're going to do as good. Okay, what do you have as the first
All right.
one?
Service. Acts of service.
41%.
See, that was a given.
One of
that
the
was
ways,
a gimme.
Seth knows one of the ways like is so big for me is like, especially on like the days that I was working lots, is like coming home from work and like the house was clean or the dishes were done. Like, and it's so hard because I think early on in our marriage, I thought that me showing showing you love was like keeping the house clean and doing the dishes and like having dinner ready for you or whatever, like doing those things. But like, I think learning that the way that I receive love is not the way you receive love. So I can't give love in the way that I receive
the biggest.
Love.
I think that was probably the biggest.
Yeah.
Is you would think you're showing me all this love, and I'm like,
and like the longer we've been
I'm
married,
like,
I realize
you don't want to come up and hug and this and this, and I would be like, dude.
The longer we've been married, I think it's like realizing that I have to show you love in the way you receive love, and that's I think what the 5 love languages is like so about is like you have to make sure you're giving love in the way that your partner receives love, not in the way that you receive love. And that's sometimes hard for us because like I want to show you love by having the house clean or doing the dishes or whatever. So
and that's how I knew acts of service because we spent the full first year of our marriage where Sunni, the way in which she showed love was acts of service, and I remember this concept coming up a lot.
Yeah.
So all right, number 2. Quality time?
Yeah.
Let's
31%.
31%.
Yeah, quality time. I mean, how often do I love like if you come home from work early and we like spend the day
Yep.
together, or when Jet goes to bed at night and you choose not to play video games, but we like watch a movie
It's a rare
together,
occasion.
or like, but that is, I feel like one that's really big for me is like spending time together and like, are you running my errands with me or something, or especially like spending time with even just me and
just doing nothing.
Yeah,
it's
me
not
and
like
Jet,
doing.
like,
It's not going on a special
yes.
date night.
How
it's
often
like,
do I want you to come sit outside while Jet and I play? Like,
I'm just gonna give some insight into our marriage. The amount of times I'm at work, I'm doing something, she calls me, "Hey, you want to go to Sam's with me?
you want to go get pizza
You
with
want to
Jet
go
and
get pizza
I
with
at
Jet and I?
Sam's?"
Yeah. You want to go pick up the Dutch Brothers? Yeah, every time.
Yeah,
every time.
quality time is big for me. Acts of service and quality time are my two like significantly biggest.
You see, that's interesting because I had like 31%, 31%,
Yeah.
28%.
No, I had
So
41,
I had like three that were all kind of close.
41%, 31%, and my next one was 14%.
Wow.
So way lower.
That's a big difference.
Yeah. Way lower. Okay, what'd you guess on the next one?
Gift giving.
Dead wrong.
Dead wrong.
Physical touch. I know.
Really?
When I was taking this, I feel like some of the way that it worded things, like, because I think me and you talked about this a little while ago, is like some of like the things that were worded as gift giving, like I don't want you to buy me jewelry, or like that was kind of the way.
Honestly, you aren't really a gift person.
No,
I think I put that because I get gift giving and acts of service kind of mixed
like,
up.
To me, an act of service is like you bring me a Dutch Brothers in the morning. So I think when I was
But
reading,
a gift would be like me planning you a trip, me like going out and buying you flowers and a necklace and like.
Yeah, I don't care about that as much. Like, I don't care about like
you're not a flowers girl.
I'm not a flowers or like a jewelry or whatever. Like, I don't really necessarily look at you bringing me a coffee as like a gift. So I think that was
that's more service because it's not about the money.
Yeah, it was about the thought. Yeah, you know.
Yeah.
So physical touch for me, because I do feel like as much as like I feel like I'm not as physical of a person as you are, I do like the small gestures of like us sitting on the couch and you holding my hand, or like you hugging
this
me
is
in
an
the kitchen
interesting
or whatever.
one though, because I feel like physical touch has become more of one of your love languages.
I think being married to you, I think being married to you, and I think being such a
exactly. I think service has become more for me than it ever was in the past. Only because, like, I have 10% service, which is not much. Yeah. But I think
probably more
back in the day it would have been 0. Yeah. I think it's just like as you grow together, you kind of start to mold into the other person's level. Because I'm so used to giving acts of service to you that it feels normal now. Mm-hmm. You're so used to like, okay, Seth, it's gonna mean a lot to Seth if I go give him a hug and I'm holding his hand, or so it's like it almost becomes more meaningful to you because you do it so often. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's you with physical touch.
Well, and I think like being married, like you want the other person to feel loved. And so I think like for me, like it feels so good when you feel loved, and I can tell that like it means a lot to you when I come up and like lay on you on the couch or like hug you or in the kitchen or whatever. And I feel like probably the same for you. Like it makes you happy seeing how excited I get when you bring me a Dutch Brothers in the morning, whatever. Sure. So I feel like being married, you so badly want that other person to feel loved, and so I feel like that's
you just start to like, and it kind of changes as you do it more. Yeah,
for sure. Okay,
so
what do you have
my fourth,
next?
I had words of affirmation.
Yep,
I got it.
7%.
Yep.
So
not much.
No, not much. It's definitely like words of affirmation, and then the last one's gift giving are kind of my bottom
honestly
two.
Once you start getting to those bottom couple, it's almost, you're going to get a couple points in some of them because it's just like
the thought.
It was between the bottom two and you had to choose one of them. Well, other than me, I had 0 in gift giving. But so it's like those are obviously
funny.
less.
Both of our bottoms are gift giving. But I feel like,
which is funny though, because when's the last time we bought each other a gift?
Yeah, there's been so many like anniversaries and like birthdays that we're like, okay, let's
please don't buy a gift.
Yes, and how many times?
Like, please don't spend a lot of money.
Have we been like, okay, let's not get a gift, but like we're gonna buy our shed, like or like we're gonna buy something that we both want.
That's
we
the
both
thing she wanted to buy this week that I have to put together for 4 days, but not point. No,
it's
honestly,
service.
Yeah. Honestly though, that's exactly it. The amount of times we're like, hey, instead of this, let's go to dinner.
Yeah.
Hey, let's spend a night doing this and doing that.
Let's go on a date night and we'll go to like a nice steakhouse or whatever.
Sure,
like
for sure.
I feel like for us, and I feel like that's using like a special occasion where a lot of people would give gifts, but doing it in our love language of quality time.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I feel like that's huge.
That's
for
true.
us.
That's true. So we're gonna go on to the final topic here. I don't think we did too bad.
No.
I think both of us were 4 for 5.
I think so.
Or
I
no,
think you only.
We both flipped one.
Yeah.
We both flipped one. Is that 3 for 5? I don't know.
Yeah.
Tell
Either
us
way,
in the
we
comments
did pretty
what
good.
So now we're going to kind of finish this conversation up of the different love languages with, in what ways have you seen these love languages actually in our marriage? And we've talked about this already some, but if there's any specific examples that you want to give just for those who are watching and thinking about love languages in their marriage.
Yeah.
What are some examples that you've seen specifically help our marriage when we understood these concepts?
Well, for me, like the biggest one was like when we first got married and I was working 4 days a week or whatever in the hospital, just on my feet all day. And like you would get up and do your morning and go to the office, whatever. And then I would come home and like the dishes weren't done and like there was still food out and all that stuff. I think that like us, obviously after arguments and fights, I feel like we learned and I feel
by
like something
fire.
for me, something that was so big was like you just taking the time before I got home and you would have the dishes done and you would have the living room picked up and you would have sometimes you'd have dinner made. And so I feel like that for me, like that act of service, even just like it was literally something that took you 20 minutes, like that spoke volumes to me of, you know, like you realizing that that is a way that I show accept love. And so I feel like for me, like that was a huge one early on in our marriage.
You know, that's interesting because that's not the one I thought you were going to bring up, which is funny. The one I thought you were going to bring up was, so Sunni, again, a lot of these were early on in our marriage. We kind of learned these things as we started. Again,
we say early on and we're only 3
yeah,
3 years
we're like going on 4 years.
Going on 4 years.
But, you know, it's interesting. I say early on, meaning like that first year as you're kind of learning, you know, it doesn't feel as if it's like new.
Yeah.
You know, the newness, kind of the newlyweds type of thing is worn off. But it's interesting is a lot of these things also happened when Sunni was working. Sunni's not really, she works about 1 day a week right now. Our son, Jet, who is going to be at the end of this video, he's changed a lot of all of this and really bonded us together because I think both of us feel love when the other one's showing love to him.
Oh,
and so
sure.
like that's been
For
huge. Sure. But it's interesting. The one I thought you were going to bring up is Sunni early on was waking up about 6 in the morning, 5:36 to go to work.
You were going to bring that one up.
Yeah. So this was a big fight back in the day, but she would wake up 5:30 or 6 to go to work. And what's interesting is, and this goes back a little bit to her background and her kind of the home she grew up in. I grew up in a home with a dad who was a preacher, and my dad would wake up to go to work, but it's, if he wanted to show up at work at 6 in the morning, he could, 7 in the morning, he could, 8, 9, 10, so on, so on. And so dad's schedule was always up in the air. Now, he always went to the office, but it was, I mean, he might stay home and eat breakfast with the family before he went, or he might be gone before I woke up. You just didn't know. Whereas your dad, working in construction,
worker.
He was up at 5:30 in the morning, commuting down to Sac from where they live. It's like a 35, 40-minute drive. And he was gone every morning, no matter what. And so you woke up to your mom being home and your dad gone working. And so early on in our marriage, I had a job that was like my dad's where I could be, you know, I could get there at 7 or I could get there at 8, I could get there at 9, whatever. And as long as I got my work done. But you had to wake up and be somewhere at 6. And so you really struggled to see me as a man because it was like, hey, my dad growing up, he had to leave early in the morning. And you're like, I have to wake up and go slave away and wake up early in the morning and you're still in bed. And so early on, I remember, and I'd ask her, I'd be like, why is you struggling with this? Would you want me to tell you to wake up early in the morning and not, and you were like, well, no, you're just a man. But that's all you had ever seen. And so one of the things I remember that I did was I was like, you know what?
This was a game changer.
This was a game changer. I was like, you know what? If it matters to you, I just started waking up at 6. I didn't need to wake up at 6 to do my job. I'd wake up at 6, I'd go to the gym and then I'd go to the office and I'd get done at like 1 o'clock.
Even I know like you would wake up with me at 6 and you would go lay on the couch for 30 minutes before you left. But it was just in my mind, it was just like, it was so hard to view you as a hard worker because I just always grew up with a blue collar dad. And I always viewed my dad as such a hard worker because it was like, he's up before the sun and he's home, you know, barely before dinner. And like my mom is home, a homemaker. And so it was just so hard for me. And I'm like, and I mean, maybe this is just partly the way I was raised, but here I being a woman and wanting to be home. And that was just not the stage of life we were in. And I was the one waking up at 5, 6 in the morning. And so that was hard for me. But that like just a small thing on your part was huge for me.
Well, and I remember the thing I would ask you before kind of making that change was I would ask you like, what more do I need to do? I would say like, you know, I would tell you about my day and I'd be like, what more do you want me to do? Like I would go through like, you know, I wrote my sermon and I studied for this and I went to a Bible study with this guy.
This was the same time like I was coming home and like the house was dirty and the dishes weren't done. So
now that was but the whole point of that is I think for me it was like, okay, I look at my job and we were being successful at church.
Yeah.
I mean, the church was
doing
growing
great.
and doing really well. It's still doing really well, by the way.
Mhm.
Roseville's awesome. That's a plug. But we were growing. We were doing well.
Yeah.
My programs were doing good. My sermons were doing
Mhm.
good. I felt like I was on time on everything. Like, so it's like in all the markers of my job, which was,
you were doing
you
great
know,
and it was going,
we were about 50-50 primary income at the time. Now, obviously, she's not really working, so mine's the primary income. But it was as if like I felt like I was meeting all these criteria of like I was doing everything that was asked of me and above and beyond in my mind. But then in your mind, it was like it wasn't enough just because I wasn't up at a certain time.
Yeah.
And it was hard for me because it was like, okay, but then I have a Bible study on a Tuesday night where it's like, okay, I'm working for another 3 hours in the evening when other people wouldn't be, and things like that. Or like, oh, I'm up all Saturday because I had to do this and this, and now I've got to finish this project, and so working on a Saturday.
I think realizing like in a marriage, that's like so what it's about. And I think like you, like, even as like silly as you thought it was in your mind, and as silly as it probably was for me to react that way and feel like you had to be up just because I was up, I feel like even just compromising and being able to do those things for your spouse is like so what marriage is about.
And I think that's why it meant so much to you, is not that not that it mattered in any sense other than you recognize that I did it out of service.
Yeah.
And that's that acts of service thing. You recognize, oh, wait, he's willing to just serve in this way.
Yeah.
And that was the one that came up in my mind the most, because I would say that was probably one of our biggest fights early on. It's like, hey, you're struggling in this way. And so it was something I had to just swallow and be like, fine, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Like I'll serve in that way.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is now it wouldn't bother you at all.
No.
Now it's like, if I want to wake up, I wake up.
Yeah.
In your mind, right? If I don't, I don't. But it's just early on, it was something that had a service. And so I think about that one a lot, because that was one of those, like, to me, it wouldn't have ever mattered because acts of service isn't a big deal to me. But to you, it meant everything.
Huge.
And there's been other situations like that when it comes to things like physical touch, when it comes to things like quality time. Quality time's never been an issue. We've both always been kind of on that wavelength.
Yeah.
But physical touch, I remember early on, you learned like, okay, when Seth comes in after, let's say he's at work, or after like, whether you're cooking or cleaning or anything, he's going to want to come and like bear hug you or like, and you just got to let it be and pause.
Yeah.
And that was something I remember you get so frustrated
about.
Like,
just let me finish the dishes.
But like, it was something that I needed because, that was a way in which I felt loved. If I was gone all day or if I was doing that. And it, so all of these I can see changes throughout.
Yeah.
And I think that was the big thing for us, is recognizing, okay, she feels loved this way. I'm happy to give that.
Well, and it's a constant reminder too. Like we're not even perfect at these now, but I feel like
definitely not.
Like just
definitely not.
I feel like even just for people watching, I feel like doing this quiz with your spouse and realizing you need to give love in the way that they receive love, not in the way that you receive love. And so I feel like doing that together and talking about those things and just being mindful. Like for me, I feel like it's like just being mindful that like it means the world to you if I come up behind you and hug you, or like when you get home, like kissing you or being excited to like just doing those things and being
small things,
doing those things and being
and
mindful.
all of these things are small. Doing the dishes takes me 10 minutes, but it's
Yes.
like it means the world to you, and that's the key. And honestly, something I think about too is like every marriage is so different, and that's why like this podcast, we sat down and we were like, no, we're not going to try to teach others about marriage, because we can't. I mean, we don't have the experience to do so. We don't have the, and I don't know other people's marriages.
No.
So it's like, I don't have the experience in our marriage, number one, but I don't have the experience in, I've only been married to one woman, and one woman that's very specific. It's like, so I think the key though, that we're trying to emphasize as we're talking about it, especially to our audience, is that we want to show you the things for us that have been like game changers. Because again, in your marriage, it might be more quality time, or it might be, more, and all of us have areas we can show more love to the spouse, to our spouse in. But I think that we wanted to share this because it's like, hey, this love languages stuff is things that really affected our marriage, especially when we were kind of going through the early first year. Like, how do we meld together? How do we figure out, okay, you used to live here, I used to live here. I grew up in this family, you grew up in this family. How do we kind of meld that together and build our own family?
Well, marriages work. And I feel like the second you stop putting the work in, you stop,
And it's work on a specific person.
For sure.
It's not like it. Honestly, if you were to trade Sunni out with somebody else today, I would have no clue what it would be like, because I only understand marriage from this perspective. And that's part of the godly model of the two become one, like we see in Scripture and in Matthew chapter 19. And so I I think that that's so important. And we want to reiterate this out of a place of humility that to us, we just want to share, hey, these are the things, looking at the love languages made a difference for us. And it's been something that's been super effective for us.
Yeah.
And it's something we're still working on, but something that's still, an active piece of what we look forward to show more love to one another.
And I think keeping prayer like in your life, prayer has been something that's been huge for us, is like when we're going through big things or when something big happens, or even just at going to bed at night, like praying together. And that I feel like has been huge in our marriage too.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Well, we've gotten through kind of the love languages conversation. We'll probably hop on here at another time and do, another conversation, between husband and wife. I hope that y'all enjoy that. Let us know if you really enjoy this. She's here all the time.
Yeah, we'll put the link for the quiz too.
That'd be great.
So
we'll put the link in
with
there.
Your spouse
Yeah, for sure. So if you want to take it with your spouse, we'll put the link. And if you can't find the link, if I have an issue with posting, sometimes YouTube will have some issues with that. Then just look it up. It's super simple. I can tell you which one was completely free. lovelanguage.co/something. So super simple, easy to find. But yeah, do it with your spouse. I think it was a great exercise for us. In the comments, tell me a few things. Tell me if you like this. Tell me if you want Sunni back on, because this is how I'm going to get her back on here. She was like about to bail on me today. So this is how you get her back on. Please say in the comments if you enjoyed it and if you want Sunni back on here. And then number 3, if you have any other questions or comments or things you want us to talk about, maybe as a as husband and wife, there we go. Then put them in the comments. The comments really help. So please like, comment, and subscribe. That stuff is really helpful to us, and it really does promote the channel to new people, and it's a free thing that y'all can do. So if you like the channel, please do that. That's all we really had for today. Sunni, thank you so much for joining. Later, she'll tell me all the things that I should have said here and should have said no. But honestly, I really enjoyed having you. I hope that y'all all enjoyed having Sunni. It's been a blessing. For the last no, she's gonna be back on again. But honestly, it's been great to have her as our first guest on Real Life, Real Faith. So again, thank you to everybody watching. Thank you, Sunni. This is Real Life and Real Faith with Seth.